With a whopping £66 billion in gross value added to the UK's economy and over 3 million UK residents working within it, hospitality is transpiring to be a cornerstone of the nation's economic resilience and growth.
So we've got pubs, restaurants, cafes, bars, canteens, all at our fingertips. We've all had an experience within the hospitality industry, either through working or being a valued customer the UK needs. So why is this undeniable reality so dismissed and even worse, ignored?
Long decrepit hours, poor managerial systems, minimum pay and little support, alas for just a small insight to what staff in the industry have to face.
As we all know, forms of abuse can develop in multiple different ways, and within hospitality these ways are often unnoticed or purposely kept hidden. So what I want to know is how this abuse in the hospitality industry is shaped and nurtured, and I begin my journey here in Ellesmere Port.
I'm on my way to see former hospitality staff Sophie, a young girl who became a victim of power abuse within her workplace, forcing her to take a stand.
So your experiences within hospitality, you said this pub, what relationship or therefore lack of relationship you had with your manager?
Well, I think he thought it was more than what it was, clearly. I was asking, can I please come back from university? And he was just constantly, well, what would I get in return? What can you do for me? So he'd asked me previously to finger myself for shifts and record it and send it to him if I wanted to come back to work. He'd offered to buy me sex toys. He'd offered to use them if I needed help using them, if I needed help picking one.
It's not just Sophie who has experienced this. The Trades Union Congress found that in most cases of workplace sexual harassment, most perpetrators were male colleagues, with a 1 in 5 chance of them being in a managerial position.
It really all started because I saw he hired this 18-year-old girl and I thought, there's my replacement. In a way, there's his next victim. Here's what's going to happen next. I know exactly what she's going to go through. I know how the messages are going to start. I saw her walk out of the kitchen and him follow behind, and I just saw the look on her face and I thought, what's he just said to her? What's happened? We had the investigation. They told me they were going to speak to him, and we were talking for so long I had to read through every message. So there was no one, and I was doing this investigation by myself, and not once did they ask me, are you okay? Because no, I was not okay. I was by myself and I just wanted my mum. Sorry. I was completely by myself and they just left me by myself. I won 3 out of 4 statements. The last statement was he'd said I'd initiated everything and they believed him. Even through every text message, everything. And they still thought it was my fault.
In 2017, the BBC found that within their own study that over 1/3 of all sexual harassment cases were in the form of unwanted jokes, followed closely by unwanted touching at 22%.
So we can see that managerial positions can be a driving factor for abuse. What really happens behind those closed kitchen doors? Well, I've just spoken to Adam Smith, ex-former chef of 20 years, who's endured this abuse so much so that he ended up taking his own life.
Yeah, so about 14 years ago I was found dead in a car. I pronounced dead by the police that found me. I tried to take my own life. I lived in a hotel in Hertfordshire and I lived in a mansion next door to the hotel with about 14, 15 other people, and I was involved in everything you can imagine there, from, like I said, sex and drugs and every debaucherous activity you can imagine. Like, we were doing it every single day, and it got to the point where it was just too much. It completely destroyed me. I taped the exhaust pipe to my face and I was there for 16 hours, pronounced dead. I got brain damage because of it, and then my skin went completely black and my family didn't even recognise me.
So you've been in hospitality for so long, all of these years. You've been a chef, in the kitchen, and you've seen all of these things happen to yourself, other people. If you were to change any of that in some sort of systematic way, how would you do it?
I'd like to get out all the people who are currently in that position of abuse, and oust them as much as possible. I'd love to be at the front of the line doing that, because I know so many of them, and get them out and expose them to the public and make people understand that there are consequences to your behaviours.
In their 2024 report, Ripple discovered that now over one half of all industry workers had thoughts of suicide or self-harm.
We know when people feel undervalued, that can have a big impact on their mental health, lead to stress in the environment, and on top of that it's a large emotional labour. Sometimes people feel very drained at the end of the day, which means they might not seek that support from other people, their friends and family, because they don't have the capacity to be able to talk more about their day because they've been doing that for the whole of their day.
But some could say all hope is not lost. After losing a dear friend from suicide, Gordon Mckay found Hospitality Health, a charity supporting all hospitality individuals through offering crucial mental health certificates.
Hospitality Health. What is it? What do you do?
Sure. 6 years ago, along with a colleague or two of mine, we decided to set this charity up. And Hospitality Health, if you like, was founded then, sadly, due to the tragic suicide of one of my friends who was a chef. And we spoke at the time and we wondered why he didn't maybe contact the Samaritans or Sam H, another fantastic charity in Scotland. So the trustees and I, at quite a pivotal meeting, decided that what we would now do is we'd start to offer fully funded mental health first aid certificate training. And what they're really doing is they're becoming the named person in the business, the go-to person for support, for help and advice. And so members of staff, if they're maybe having a bad day, or maybe it's been something out with work that's affected them, they come into work and they're low, their behaviour's perhaps different than normal, and the mental health first aider may be the person they can go to talk to and confide in, very much confidential. But by us fully funding that, we're now finding that businesses are considering the well-being and the wellness of their staff.
Though it can be a toxic cycle of abuse, people like Sophie, Adam and Gordon are living proof that this cycle can be stopped.
It may not be today or in the near future, but we do know that people are standing up and fighting these stigmas. But behind those closed doors, we know that abuse is kept hidden and can be as relentless as any other form.